everybody, this is Rock Queen 71 coming at you live from my headquarters in Rocklahoma. It's live outside on Tuesday. And we're just catching up. We're just chatting. Bringing you up to speed with things. I hope you guys are doing okay out there and stuff. I'm braving the elements for you guys. It's 85 degrees out, and it's kind of humid, but I can deal with it. It's been a while, guys. It's been a rough road for me. Let me tell you. I hate times like that, but I have faith in God that He'll get me through. And I just want to, second of all, I want to thank all of you for your prayers and comments on my short I'm not okay short. It means a lot to me, guys, okay? I needed the power of prayer to get me through what I was going through with my pain. I've had worse times in my life, I know. I've had worse times. But when the bad times really hit me, the real dark times really hit me, and I go in a very, very dark place. You know what I'm talking about? A very dark place. But I'm here. I'm here. I don't know for how long, but I'm here. So, I'm just grateful that I'm sitting in the seat talking to you guys out there. And if you guys are going through difficult times, whether it be drugs, alcohol, mental illness like depression, anxiety, panic attacks, OCD, or whatever, I'm with you guys. I haven't left you, believe it or not. When I'm off the camera, I do think about you guys a lot. I do, believe it or not. I don't want to talk about what's going on with the Jeffrey Files or what's going on with Donald Trump. I don't want to talk about, I just want us to enjoy our chat, to enjoy our conversation. That's it. I think everybody's pretty much fatigued from the Jeffrey Files, the Donald Trump crap and all that stuff. Let's forget all about that, okay? Let's just enjoy each other. I think the reason why I came out here is just to get away from all that crap. So, here I am. As you can see, my husband, say hi, honey.
Hi, honey.
We have like a bad ambush of ants all over the place around here. and stuff. And so it happens, right? So we're dealing with it the best we know how. I'm just glad I have a husband that does it. That kills all the ants. If it was me, I would have called the exterminator by now. But that's not how they do it in Hickville, Oklahoma. Oh. Yeah. A lot's been going on, guys, with me and with Jim, but we're not going to talk about Jim yet. Jim's been going through a lot of things, and I want you guys out there to pray for him, for Jim. He made a decision, and I'm not going to go into it, but he made his decision finally just to let go of certain things. And I support him on it, because I told him last night, I said, you have to think of yourself mentally and physically. And if it's wearing you down that much, you might, but like I said, we're not going to talk about it right now. Unless you want to talk about it, honey.
No, I don't want to talk about it. You're doing a great job. Keep it up.
I had to try, guys, okay? But, it's good to sit out here. I'm looking at Junior, but still call Junior Juniper, because I think Juniper's preggers, okay? And, because I see her wallowing around and all that stuff. Honey, you should really give them fresh water and stuff. Because they were looking for the water, and I'm getting bitten up by ants and all that crap. But this past weekend I had like a triple threat. I had a huge migraine that wouldn't go away for 2 days, and then my back, and then my neck, and then when that happens, I feel like just going to the hospital and whatever, but I slept it off, and I tried the best I could, which I got through it. But when I go through that, it's like, I've said so many times in this channel, okay, where I rather feel something, even pain, a little bit of pain, not a whole bunch of pain, okay, than to what I felt like in my addiction, which was nothing, or even 6 feet underground would be nothing. I mean that. But when I go through that, it's I'm miserable. And it stresses out Jim too, because it's like, I wonder if she's going to ask me to go to the hospital or not. Which,
Just laying out in the yard.
oh, look what I found. That was, so I wear these or these? But And please have your thoughts and prayers go out to the Texas flood victims and their loved ones and the state of Texas. That's terrible. You know, I can only imagine the pain and the grief they're going through, especially, you know, if they're still missing parts of their family and all that. You know, what I was going through for the past few days doesn't compare to what they were going through. I'm getting bitten up here. I'm getting sweaty. Oh, boy. We should have the bug zapper out here or something. A lot's going on in the world, and I had enough of what was being seen on YouTube, and I was like, I'm gonna go out, and I'm gonna put my face on cam and forget about what's going on in the world, and focus on you guys, you know, the humidity here, and the heat, and the bugs, and the mosquitoes, and all that stuff, and ants, and all that. No, I put on the top step. I do that for a reason. No, the top step.
I just sprayed ants.
Yeah, we don't, yeah. This thing is so freaking useless. It doesn't do anything.
Is it on high?
Yeah.
You got the moisture on, or is the moisture used up?
No,
No, it's okay.
feel it.
It works inside the house.
Yeah, inside the house, but not outside the house. But it's like this. Look at me. I'm sweating. All right, just stay there until I finish the whole stream here. Yeah. Now you want to feed me grapes too, and open up my Java Monster, and
now
keep going with him.
Yeah, okay. Just start treating these as gold, because
No, I know. I love to hear you laugh, honey.
love you, babe. I love to hear you scream.
Of course he does.
You're outside having fun.
Well, I haven't done this in a while and stuff. But this thing is I feel like this.
Well, just hold it in one place for a while.
Yeah.
Don't cover your face.
All right, yeah, well, can you show me how you...
Nice try, honey.
Can you show me? Come here. Come here. You know what? I can't open this Chocolate Monster. You have to open this for me. Come on, honey. I can't open this. I love to hear Jim laugh. You know, he's been going through, like I said, a lot these past few days. Okay? He really has. And just for me to make him laugh brings joy to my heart, because I feel a lot of times I give him a lot of jersey, a lot of stress from my health issues. You know what I mean? And he has a nice smile. No, it is working a little bit. I guess it's mind over matter, right? Still doesn't work. Oh, and I have. Oh. Anyway. But, I'm turning it off for now. It's, life is still good, guys. I'm so grateful for what I have. I'm so grateful for my husband, Jim. I feel I still have the best husband in the world. You know. Today, our lives changed forever. And I think it's going to be for the best. I can't go into it right now. I want the dust to settle a little bit. You know? But just to be out here under the trees and just actually sitting out here, I needed it. Because I think for a whole week, maybe a week and a half, I don't know, I was in the house. Not good. Not good at all. And also, this past weekend, I ordered a whole bunch of Taco Bell. And I wish I never did it because I had bad heartburn and all that stuff. And on top of my, on top of my migraine and my back killing me and my neck, that even made the problems worse. How many of you out there have agonized over a decision that you know you had to make and you were afraid to go through with it? I did many times. I know that. With my sobriety, with my recovery, with maybe getting out of a relationship, job-wise, I don't know, well, I just freaking left the job, whatever. But you found out that you made the best decision in your life. It was the hardest decision you had to make, but it was the best decision to even save your life. That was me. That was me plenty of times. And now Jim made a decision today where, and he's been struggling over the decision for, I think, a year now. About a year. And I have faith in God that it'll be okay. We'll have some rough times, but we'll be okay. We'll be all right. Because I'll tell you one thing, I know, you know, and I told him this, that I worry about him just as much or even more that he worries about me with my health issues. You know? One day at a time. You know? One hour at a time. Even if you have to take 5 minutes at a time. I've been there too, especially when I go through panic attacks. When I got up this morning, I was going through a panic attack because of my pain issues or whatever, and I took my medication and whatever, and I felt better. I'm trying not to think about all the videos I want to do on my computer. You know, one step at a time. So, it does feel good being out here and just taking it all in. But I do want to thank each and every one of you that actually commented or liked my short about me asking for prayers because I was going through a hard time with my pain issues and just being in the space that I was in. At least we got through it. At least we got through it. I know there's going to be more times like the ones I've been having, but, you know, it's okay, right? My biggest monster in my life right now is my pain issues, along with my depression, anxiety, and panic attacks. Because every day I deal with pain. Every freaking day. And some days I have real good days, like I can be flying across the universe, right? And then there's days where I get into such a deep, dark space that there's times where I keep fighting and fighting and fighting. I just don't want to fight anymore. But I know I have a purpose to help others. You know, because by helping other people out, I help myself out. You know, in order to keep my sobriety, I have to give it away. And, you know, I'm here I'm still fighting. I still have a reason to fight. You know? I want to live. I don't want to be in that dark space. But we all go through times like that, right, guys? Where we go through our dark times, whether it be with ourselves, with other people, with loved ones, with life in general, how the world is, right? And I know there's a lesson to be learned with all this, excuse me, when it comes to my pain. Physically and emotionally. And maybe spiritually too. You know? Now I could. Hey, Ants, how's it going? Thanks for joining me on my stream. From Mixer, oh my God, boy, I miss Mixer. Oh my God. I miss Mixer. I still do, I'll admit. Fun times. I feel like there's never going to be another Mixer. Even Kick, you know, tries to create, like, you know, it's never going to be like Mixer. Yep. Yep. Well, there was a, all right, hold on. You probably know about this. No, Twitch is dying. It's dying. You know, Twitch is dying. But there was a site called Glemish. And they branded themselves as the new Mixer. This is when Mixer shut down. Okay? And they branded themselves the new Mixer. And they said on Twitter, and I tagged them. I said, no, you're far from Mixer and stuff. And we were going back and forth. Yeah. No. I've been told, like a few people that were partners on Mixer, like Psycho Plays or whatever. I'm like, why don't we do like a Memorial Day, like every year? July 22nd is Mixer Day, right? And you know what Psycho Plays told me? No, we're all trying to get over it. It won't work. Maybe I should do that. Maybe I should have done that and stuff. Even if I was on YouTube or Twitch, right? I should have had just the Mixer Day. Maybe next year I'm going to do that and pretend, I'm on Mixer again. How about that? Every year to get heartbroken, no, it will be painful. No, let's admit it. It's still painful. It is. No, but I think, well, you know, when you have a loved one that passed away, right? Let's say my husband that passed away back in 2011, right? You want to honor them, right? So you go out and do something to honor them. It's about honoring Mixer. Because there's a lot of streamers out there that start their careers, okay, mixing streaming careers on Mixer, right? Not Jim. No. My husband Ed died February 25th, 2011. Okay, back in Jersey. Jim's still alive. And I'm surprised I didn't kill him yet with all the Jersey toot I gave him. Yeah, no. Thank God what? Thank God he's us. Yeah. No, he's still here. He's with yeah. If he wasn't such a nice hombre, I wouldn't be here in Hickville, Oklahoma. Yeah. Yeah. But like I said, we've been married since 2017, okay? And I'm surprised my Jersey bullshit didn't kill him yet. With all the crap I put him through. That's right. I do. I do. You're right. I might be clean and sober, but I'm not dead. I still know how to party and have a good time. We had a lot of fun times on Mixer. Here, you know what? You know what? This is what I do now. I should have done it earlier. I'm gonna give you a cyber hug, okay? You ready for it? And I didn't do that on Mixer, but I do it now. So here's the cyber hug. I'm so glad you came on my stream. I'm really enjoying our conversation. There you go. I hope I didn't break your ribs. You're still a same old troublemaker white girl. Hell yeah, you know that. Yep. Wait, hold on now. What was your name on Mixer? Thank you. My husband actually found another pair in the yard somewhere. Like, I was doing another outside stream, I guess, for 4th of July and stuff, and I dropped them, and I'm lucky that he didn't run over them with a lawnmower. Otherwise, he would have owed me, like, another pair. You had many accounts. Thank you. Hey, I'm cool too, you know. Hey, I'm from Jersey. I'm cool. I'm Rocktastic. I'm your Jersey worst nightmare. Yeah, and all that. Nope. And I still have the whole cookie jar, candy jar full of, yeah. No. Oh, Rocktastic! Not cool, Rocktastic. But I appreciate your compliment, I really do. Yeah, as far as smoking cigarettes, when I'm in the hospital, like a couple weeks ago, I ended up in the hospital because of my back, okay? And I was in there for what, 2 days or whatever and stuff. I don't think about it. You know, they'll give you a nicotine patch and, you know, and a lot of times it falls off, so, you know, I don't think about it. Jim doesn't smoke, you know? And he'll tell you. He says, yeah, I don't know. Talk about wildfire. Let us create a wildfire of change. You remember I used to say that? Let's create a wildfire of change to diminish the darkness in the world. I know we're not going to get all the darkness in the world, but we're going to fight like hell to get rid of it. And believe me, back in March, we had a wildfire. And because I tell this to people all the time. When I was on Mixer, I was accepted to that Embers for All program, right? And without a second thought, I wanted to give back to the community. I wanted to do a fundraiser and whatever, okay? So because of the Embers for All program, I said, let's create a wildfire of change. Now, embers are a part of a fire, right? So that's how I got the idea. Let's create a wildfire of change was prophetic. You know why? Back in March, all this, you can't see it, all this was on fire. Westport, Oklahoma. We had a lot of wildfires going on in Oklahoma. So to me, creating a wildfire of change has a whole new meaning to me. And if you ever see me in my studio, it looks like I'm in the wildfire. So yeah, it has a whole different meaning to me now. We almost lost everything. Yep. Actually, hold on. You see that? That was my old gaming chair. That was caught in the wildfire. My neighbor, see if I go, see, hold on. Let me see. Sorry about that. Yeah, my name, see, if I walk around with my cell phone, it's going to look like we're in Minecraft. My 78-year-old neighbor, who was in Vietnam, who raised 3 doctors, by the way, lost everything. Lost everything, including 6 cars. Now we're building, hold on. Hold on. Now, hello. Now listen. This whole thing, right? And I know this is gonna be all blurry and janky and all this crap, like we're in Minecraft. But all this, right, was on fire. Okay? In fact, hold on. I have my sandals on, so I can't. And this turns out really Minecrafty, I'm sorry. This is how close the wildfire came. Right there. I don't know if you can really see it. The charness right here, and that's our house. Wait, hold on. I'm gonna. Hold on, I'm getting here. Yeah. Here's the shed that got caught a little bit. Over here, I'm sorry if it looks Minecrafty. Oh, there's a charred piece of wood right there. Right there. And there's a hole where, and this is where my studio is, right? So some of the skirting of the house actually caught fire and melted, and there's my studio. So yeah, we were lucky. I have to sit down because my back's starting to. Oh my God, my back. Sorry. Oh my God. Okay. And I'm, like I said, I'm sorry if it was all Minecrafty. Nah, I don't go easy. It's either go big or come home, or end up in the hospital. That's me. I know she did say something. Wait. Hold on. I know you said something. I missed it. Well, thank you. Yeah, I think we actually, we suffered post-traumatic stress disorder, for a couple weeks. I know I did. It was just surreal to me. You know, I survived Superstorm Sandy back in Jersey, tornadoes, and yes, Jersey does have tornadoes, not as many as here, but a couple of them. Floods. Oh yeah, and a flash flood hit parts of New Jersey. Not where my mom is in the nursing home or whatever. It was in Berkeley Heights and Somerset County, which is, you know, in the middle of Jersey. Another thing to worry about, right? Yeah. It seems like all these natural disasters are, like, really getting worse, right? It makes you wonder. You know what I mean? It makes you wonder. I mean, that night, I'm going to tell you something. That night, it was like, I think March 21st, right? And a couple days before that, I was watching these wildfires around Oklahoma on the news, right? And you don't think it's going to happen to us? No, not us. No, we survived tornadoes, right? Whatever. And then all of a sudden, that night, on Channel 9 News in Tulsa, they said Westport area is being affected. Now, I was talking to my niece, because Jim's daughter lives in Cleveland, okay? And I asked, my niece, I said, is Lonnie okay? Is she okay? If she's not, she could come here. She was okay. But then the wildfire jumped over the highway and came straight towards us. Oh, I forgot to... Hold on. Yes, it does actually makes me wonder about the end of days and Judgment Day. Yeah! Yeah, you just wonder. But I don't know. Hold on. But I talked to the Sky Press. All right, hold on. Let's walk. All right, hold on. And like I said, this turns a little Minecrafty. I apologize. It's my hick internet. All right, so that house right there, Jim's grandfather built. And back in 2021, the house was foreclosed on, okay? Jim's cousin used to live there and it was foreclosed on. Thank God my mother-in-law didn't find out about it. But but you see the house, right? Like you see the backhoes and all that, and that, right? That whole place was destroyed. And I was talking to Preston, and he's like, yeah, he says, when that wildfire went through Jerry's property, it was going straight towards your property. And it was a miracle that we didn't lose everything, right? I truly believe this. Hold on, I have to... Oh my God, my back. Ugh. I'm going to say this. If you knew my mother-in-law, she passed away November 19th, 2021. She had tenacity. She made it to her 94th birthday. But I swear to you, this whole lot, this family compound, I call it a family compound like it was a Charles Manson family compound, was saved. You know why it was saved? Because of God and my mother-in-law going up to the friend of the line saying, God, don't let our property burn. We've had this property here in our family for years. Don't let Jim's family and the rest of the family go out on the streets. They need a place to live. I went to church every Sunday. Read the Bible every day. Save our property. And I swear that happened. And of course, Jim will say, because I sound just like her. That's how much of an impact she had on my life. I was in a hospital, like I said, a couple weeks ago, whatever. And the nurse said to me, every time you talk about your mother-in-law, you switch to her voice. It's like automatic. And I said, you know what? It's probably because I miss her so much. I want to hear her voice. But that day, that night, she saved all this. I swear. You know? Girl, you tough. Nut to crack. You survive WW3. May she rest in peace. You will survive World War III. Oh, yeah, you know it. I might be in total back pain or whatever, but you know I'm going to kick and scream all the way. Do some Jersey street fighting. I'm telling you. I mean, I go through my times, okay? And look, I'm sweating up a storm here. I know I go through my tough times, and you know, a lot of people are saying, well, if she's so tough, like Jim's coworkers will say to him, well, if she's so tough and she's from Jersey and she has this, you know, Jersey tune and all this stuff, why did she end up in the hospital with panic attacks? Well, it happens. That doesn't mean crap. Okay? The Pope could have panic attacks, okay, and end up in the hospital. Putin could have panic attacks and end up in the hospital. Okay? Trust me. You know? And the thing about it is, when I was in my addiction, I never had panic attacks. I never was paranoid about anything. I had buzzkills though, but I never had panic attacks, you know, anxiety attacks or whatever, until my back pain started up. Yeah, they are, but not you. Yeah, I am a fighter and stuff. And you know very well I do not do this for the money. If you knew me on Mixer, okay, you knew I did not do that for the money. Jersey fist bump. It's life, you know. You're not a give up type of person. You fight to the end. No, you don't do it for the money. Oh, sorry. You do it for fun. And to get back to the community, because when I was on Mixer, I had the Queen's Charitable Knights. Now, my army is the Queen's Light Brigade, okay? And my Queen's Charitable Knights raised $500. Not for me, it was for a rehab in Houston, Texas called Strong Tower. It was a faith-based rehab. I never went to it. But you guys, the Queen's Charitable Knights, I put every name that donated in that letter. It wasn't me, it was you guys. You know what I mean? And I want to start that up again. And all that. There's so many things I want to do. And, you know. But I do appreciate you. I truly do. You know. We all go through our struggles. You know. And it's so important for us to connect with each other and set aside our differences. You know. And yeah, I know. I think you're going to be ready again with GTA 6. We'll get people around you again. GTA 6! Alright, so I haven't played any video games in like months. Hard to believe, right? I'm the queen of Battlefield, and don't you forget it. Don't you forget it. I am the queen of Battlefield. Yeah, queen of Battlefield. I haven't seen any of the trailers for Battlefield 6. Have you? Now, GTA 6, I think, is woke. Because they're not going to have the funny commercials like, you know, I'm not smoking crack. They have coconut crack, raspberry crack, blueberry, you know, all that, you know. I can't forget. Battlefield 1. We had the best squad, one of the best platoons in Battlefield 1. I'm not being cocky when I say this. I was one of the best platoon leaders, squad leaders on Battlefield 1. Yes. And I can say that with conviction. And I'm proud of that. There was a big horsefly on me, and oh my God. Wait a minute. I saw some video of each game. Oh, I'm telling. How come I can't read this? Wait a minute. It looks promising. Battlefield 6. I have to look that up. I wasn't sure it was you, but I thought I'd stop by and check. How's the pain? How you doing today? Yes, it's her. How's it going, Dean? What's up? My pain level is level, okay? And I did reply to your comment on my video, on my short. I'm sorry for the late reply. I'm doing better. I appreciate you, Moto, and I should be doing more for you. And I honestly admit that. You know what I mean? But I was so down in a hole, like the Alice in Chains song. I thought I was just gonna jump off the cliff or something. Not, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. That was a little joke that I made about. Yeah, I know. I know it was a joke. They broke the mold when they made me, baby. And everybody knows it. All of YouTube knows it. All of Twitter knows it. All of Instagram knows it. The world knows it. Trust me. My husband knows it. I love that you're smiling and full of energy today. Yes! As always. And you know what? I haven't even cracked open a Java Monster yet. Triple shot, guys. Triple shot. Killer brew. Killer brew. Java Monster is the only rocket fuel for this rock queen. Hell yeah! Yeah, baby. I haven't even opened it yet. But I will admit I had one before streaming. So. Yeah, it's getting pretty dark now, right? Sunset. We didn't see the sunset, though. Oh, you'll feel them. When I feel like I'm going through a panic attack or I'm getting to that certain level, I don't drink them. I drink like Coca-Cola and stuff, but I know not to touch them. If I feel like, if my pain's getting too much and my pain level's like this, and my anxiety's like this, like, I don't drink that. Wait a minute. I am eating a great big piece of yummy water. Oh! You put salt on it, right? Now they have a new thing for watermelon. I guess it's a Mexican thing. It's like, I guess, cayenne pepper and salt or whatever. I would love that. I would like just have a piece of honeydew melon or, well, I have honeydew. Well, no, we're not going to get there. This is a family-friendly stream. But you know what I was going to talk about. But cantaloupes, I love. Honeydew melons, I love. And so does my husband. Wink, wink. But he doesn't like cantaloupe. I don't know why, but, you know. Yeah. Do you like eating watermelon sorbet or sherbet? Back in the day, when we used to have, you know, our cookouts, we used to douse a whole watermelon either with rum or vodka. And boy, that would hit you. I'm telling you. You didn't feel it at first, but when it hit you, it went BAM! You know? Seriously. It's getting dark. You know what? Let me see if I can, hold on. We're gonna do this. We're gonna do this. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. You know what? I must. We're gonna do this like July 5th. I know this is gonna probably be all Minecrafty again. I hate when my stream ends up like this. But we're gonna do it like this. Alright, so I'm here and we're gonna hold on. I can't see what you're writing or typing or whatever. Hold on. Let me see if I can. There we go. Now, hold on. We'll be out here just for a little bit more. Alright, wait a minute, guys. Alright. Can you see me now? Or it's not going to be that great. But, can you see me? I did this during, I think, the day after 4th of July when we saw the fireworks and stuff. We're not going to be out here very much longer. But, yeah, watermelon sounds pretty good right about now. Cool. Cool. Yeah. Glad to see you, Moto. But like I said, I'll admit, I should be doing more for you. You know. Yeah. It's nice and light and everything. Yep. I agree with you. I like like making my own fruit salad too, like with, blueberries, bananas, cantaloupe, strawberries, watermelon, kiwi fruit, because my grandmother comes from New Zealand. So, kiwi power. I'm very proud of my kiwi heritage. I'm very sticky sweet. Wink, wink. Whatever. But this morning I had a vicious Charlie horse and my calf. Like a calf. I like to die. So my mission was to stay hydrated today. Too, I'm going to tell you something real quick. And you can ask Jim this. I will bring 2 bottles of ice bottles, okay, like regular water bottles, from the freezer and put beside my bed. So when the fan runs, it has sort of like a knockoff air conditioning effect. And then I'll have another just regular cold water bottle just to drink. But they say before you get up that you should actually drink a whole bottle of water or half a bottle of water to get hydrated. That's what you should do. Because I know, like, in our house, it gets so freaking... Our insulation in this house really is bad, and Jim has to fix it, but, yeah. A friend of mine told me that. Either have, like a, energy drink with no sugar in it, right? And I'm not talking about Java Monster either. I'm talking about, like, Alani or G Fuel or whatever, right? And then, or just water, drink that, and then, go about your day. I usually keep a big mug of water by my bed and pretty much chug that in the morning, like whatever's left in it. Yeah! He thinks I'm crazy for bringing 2 ice bottles of water in the bed. I mean, not in the bed, but, by my bed. Yeah. Actually, we should have a small refrigerator in our bedroom. But, But it's much cooler in the bedroom than it is in the living room. It's more relaxing in the bedroom. But this past weekend, when I had my migraine and my back pain and my neck pain or whatever, like, I was like, that bedroom helped a lot. It took a long time for that migraine to just disappear, but, I was in agony. I wanted to go to the ER and just get a shot or something like that, but I didn't. And stuff. But Jim took very good care of me. Like he always does. He tries. But, and they say when you get, like, migraines or just headaches that you're not hydrated, Oh, hold on. Oh, speaking of hydration, ugh, I need glasses. All right, wait. The full fruit of a labor of love. Crap. Likes. Oh my God! I need glasses. Don't tell Jim I need glasses. All right, wait. The full fruit of a labor of love lives in the harvest, and that always comes in the right season. I love that saying. You remember I used to complain about those headaches at the time at work? I think it's cause I drink too much coffee. Wait a minute. Hold on. You can actually withdraw from caffeine. I think I get that too. Yeah. You can actually, you can do that. Because caffeine's a drug. I mean, when you drink, well, I don't have it here. I left it on the table. But when you drink like one of those cans are like 3 cups of coffee each. Or 4. You know what I mean? All right. Got it. High five there, buddy. Here, let me give you a hug. You know what? I didn't even give you a hug. A cyber hug. Hold on. Oh, it's good. So good to see you. Yes, we have to work on not drinking that much caffeine. Yeah, it's addictive, and that drug at times will affect me, gives me anxiety. That's unwanted. That's why, like with my pain, I told you, like with my pain issues on my back, when it gets to a certain level, I go into a panic attack or whatever, and when I feel like it's coming on, I'll only drink Coca-Cola. You know? Because I still need my caffeine. You know? And I don't touch it. You can ask him. I don't touch it. I hope I didn't break your ribs. Yeah, when things don't work for you anymore, you just have to let it go. And that's hard. And especially ants in your pants. I don't know if they're still on here or not. But he knew me from Mixer. And he said, "Are you still smoking cigarettes?" And I'm like, "Yeah, look. Well, these are regular cigarettes now because I had to order my cigarettes, right? Or my filtered cigars." I say, "Yeah, I'm still smoking." I still have that candy jar. Full of, nicotine gum and all that. And I have made caffeine or just coffee my celebration treat drug. Yeah. Actually, you know what I do? When I go to the doctor in Tulsa, okay, when he takes me to the doctor in Tulsa and stuff, I'll tell him, right? I said, can we go to McDonald's so I can get an iced coffee? A French vanilla, light and sweet. And do you know these people in Oklahoma don't know what light and sweet is? I'm like, really? He gets so frustrated with me. Because I will say, yeah, French vanilla, light and sweet. And he's like, what's light and sweet? They won't know what light and sweet is. I said, I know what light and sweet is. It's like more sugar and more cream. What's so complicated about that? They don't have Wawa or Dunkin' Donuts, around here. I miss Dunkin' Donuts, but now they just call Dunkin'. Everything affects me. Wait. When they said I was allergic to drugs, I can really believe that mind or mood altering messes with my psyche. I'm going to tell you something. And this is from my own experience, guys. This is from my own experience. I'm not a licensed therapist, nor I'm a certified drug and alcohol counselor. This is from my own experience. I was in detox one time. This is back in Jersey, by the way. They put me on medication. Because I was kicking everything else. And they actually put me on, I think, Prozac. Because Jersey, everybody's on Prozac in Jersey. Anyway, we're the Prozac capital of the world, Jersey. Within one dose, I swear to God, I was like, I don't like the way I'm feeling. I went up to the nurse's station. I said, I don't like the way I'm feeling. And all this stuff, right? So the nurse comes around the nurse's station. She sits me down, and she takes my blood pressure, and she says, and she's told me this. She says, you know what's going on with you? Because my kicking was pretty much over with, all right? She said that I was so hypersensitive to the medication. Even if it was an antidepressant, mood stabilizer, whatever. Okay? She said I was so hypersensitive with that medication. And so she says, don't take it anymore. I'll tell the doctor not to switch your medication to something else or whatever. Just with one dose. And I was scared. I was like, I don't want, because I felt like, oh my God, what's going on? Because when you're coming down, you're kicking whatever, your mind is like all over the place, kicking, it's either a fight or flight response, and stuff. You don't know if you're coming or going, whatever, okay? And that really, I was like, oh my God. And I've had a couple episodes here with them putting me on antidepressants or mood stabilizers or whatever. But the thing is, too, and this is, all right, so hold on. You're saying, wait a minute. Everything affects me. I already said that. But what's funny is this. And like I said, this is my own experience. When I'm in so much pain, okay, and my panic attacks are out of whack, like uncontrollable or whatever, and the EMTs come, or say Jim drives me to OSU or whatever, okay, they will shoot me up, and they know I'm in recovery. They all know. Even if I've seen them 1,000 times before, I still say it, that I'm in recovery. I'm a recovering crack and heroin addict since 2004, alcohol since 2011. Okay? It's automatic to me because I'm responsible for my own recovery. You have to tell them this. Okay? I mean, you don't have to, but if you want to still be in recovery, I suggest you tell them that. Okay? And you have a right to refuse any medication they give you. And they can't hold it against you or whatever. Okay? Because it's in the Patient Bill of Rights. Every hospital in every state has a Patient Bill of Rights. And I should talk about that on my stream one day and stuff. Thanks, you're awesome. I love listening to you talk about this. It seems like everybody loves to hear me talk. Because I say it like it is, okay? And I'm very knowledgeable about certain topics. You know what I mean? Being hypersensitive to drugs and just hypersensitive, emotional person that I am, I have to be very careful. Yeah! You have to be. Even if the side effects don't show up right away, you have to be honest with your doctor. You have to be your best advocate about it. You know, I tell my doctor about certain things. I say, I don't even think the medication even works. You know, they're not going to know unless you open your mouth. And believe me, Jim knows I open my mouth about a lot of things. But you have to tell them that you're in recovery. But like I said, with my own experience, and like I said, I'm not a licensed therapist, nor I'm a certified drug and alcohol counselor, okay? This is my own experience. Like I said, when I'm in a lot of back pain, panic attack, whatever, and the EMTs come here, or you know, if Jim, you know, drives me to the emergency room, right off the bat, they know I'm in recovery. Right off the bat. Even though sometimes, you know, like Jim will say, they can't understand you. Because I'm like, I'm in recovery, you know, not like that, but, you know. Because at that time, my mind's racing. You know, like trying to calm down, you know, whatever, right? They will shoot me up with morphine. They will. They don't do it all the time. I don't ask them for it. They give it to me. I have a right to refuse. I don't, because I know I'm not going to go to the dope man. Or I know I'm not there to get off. Okay? So they do that. And sometimes, you know, they'll shoot me up with Toradol and morphine. They'll give me another shot of morphine and stuff. Okay? But I know it's only for the pain and all that stuff. When I was in the hospital a couple weeks ago, they gave me hydrocodone, narco. You know, they know this. They even gave me some to take home. 5 days worth. Did I take them all? Yeah, I took them all, but I didn't take them every 6 hours or whatever. You know, sometimes, you know. Am I going through withdrawals now? No. Do I feel like I want to shoot up again? No. But the doctor, and usually they don't do this in OSU. They'll say, yeah, we're going to give you 5 days of hydrocodone, and that's it. And the nurse, I mean, the doctor was looking at me. It was her. She's like, we're only going to give you 5 days. Like, you better, you know, you know, it doesn't affect me like that, you know. And believe me, every time I take medication, okay, I tell Jim. I tell him, well, right now I'm taking, gabapentin, cyclobenzaprine, 2 ibuprofens, but, whatever. All right? To keep myself in check. It's not that I don't trust myself, but I want to let him know what's going on in case something happens. Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah, there's a big difference, and I'm pretty sure you're not doing it because you want to get high. You're trying to survive. And, I'm going to tell you something, Dean. This happened, I think, in 2019. I had blue hair. Hard to believe I had blue hair, right? My sister-in-law, Ann, called me Smurfette. All right. About a week before, they gave me morphine or whatever. This is in 2019, okay? And it was really the first time I was in OSU. And they gave me something to calm me down and, for pain, whatever. And Jim left work to, take care of me, and he was really worried, whatever, all right? About a week later, or 2 weeks later, I had blue hair, like electric blue hair. And I wish my sister-in-law was still here. I miss the hell out of her. I miss you, Ann. I miss you very much. I love you very much. So they brought me in by ambulance. Do you know what they were thinking? I was med shopping. And I'm like, what? I'm like, no. And then I had that night. So it still affects me today. It was traumatic, okay? Because I had the blue hair, they thought I was med shopping. And I have proof because, 2 weeks before I had, dirty blonde hair, normal looking person, not a street, but just because I had blue hair, all right? So I was waiting, and the nurse comes in, she gives me 2 Tylenol and a glass of water. And I was still going through my pain and whatever. And I said, is the doctor going to give me something for my anxiety and stuff? She said, no, he's discharging you. I said, for what? I'm not ready to go home yet. Right? Hold on. So she said, no, he's going to discharge you. And I was like, no. And my anxiety went, right? So the nurse, I had an IV in me. So you know how that medical tape is? When it rips off, it hurts. She ripped it off. I said, ow! She said, don't yell at me. I'm like, I wasn't yelling at you. It hurt. Right? It hurt. She went back there and she got security. And my jerseyness was starting to come out. And my brain was telling me, Vic, you better not do anything. I'm not ready to go home. I said, what did I do? And you know how these security cops are like wannabe cops? They're wannabe cops. They're bullies, right? She said, well, stop yelling at the nurse. Why are you yelling at the nurse for? I said, I was not yelling at the nurse. I said, she pulled off that tape and it hurt. Something told me, Vic, you better shut it down. Because this guy is ready to put cuffs on you. For no reason at all. So here I am in a wheelchair. And then I had to wait. I had no right to get home. Jim wasn't, I had to call my mother-in-law. I said, Mom, and that was a whole ordeal too, because I didn't know my mother-in-law's phone number. So he's like, are you going to go home or what? They were going to arrest me for loitering or something, okay? I was trying to get home. I had no money on me, nothing, no phone. And I'm thinking, so the officer, this jerk off, excuse language, all right. I was trying to be calm in the waiting room because there was a black father and his little girl there. I am a lot scared of the little girl, okay? And stuff. So my anxiety was, I was hot. I was like, oh my God, right? So the security guard said to me, well, why don't you try to admit yourself again? And whatever. So the head nurse comes saying, no, the doctor's discharged you and we're not going to treat you anymore. If you want any more further treatment, go down to St. John's or something, or Hillcrest or whatever that hospital was. And I'm like, so they're like, well, do you have a ride to get home? I said, no. They asked me where I lived. Hold on. I told them where I lived. They said, do you really, and they questioned me like I was freaking lying. Do you really live there in Cleveland? Do you really live there? And I'm like, yes. And I'm drinking. So the stupid freaking knockoff cop said, well, what's your mother-in-law's address? What's her name? And I told him, right? They said, well, is this the one? And I said, yes. So I called my mother. I called my mother-in-law. I'm like, Ma, you have to call Jim and tell him to get me in the hospital. I said, you don't understand. They're gonna. And she said, I'll try, honey. I'll try to reach him. I said, no, Ma, you don't understand. And it seemed like it would take it forever. So every 5 minutes, I would call my mother-in-law, saying, did you call Jim? I'm trying to call him right now. I'm like, Ma, you don't understand. And because I was about to just, okay, it took a lot for me to shut myself down. And I mean that. Okay? Because I feel I was wrongfully treated. Okay? Just because I had the blue hair. Okay? And if they did the blood test and stuff, they would know I wasn't med shopping, I wasn't shooting up junkie, whatever. Okay? Okay? It took a lot for me to shut myself down. And so here they're coming around again. They're like, did you call for a ride? I said, I'm trying to go call for a ride. Well, so the head nurse was like really snotty and all. She said, well, we decided to call a cab for you, dear. And where do you live again? And I told them. And they said, you better be certain that's the correct address where you live. And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, oh my God. So I go back to the phone. I'm like, Maya, did you call him? Yeah, he should be coming about 15, 20 minutes, honey. Just hold on, dear. So I was waiting in the waiting room. This little black girl was looking at me, and I was like, hi, Here they're watching me like I'm a freaking convict or a sexual predator or something. Or, and I never experienced it in all my life, okay? So all of a sudden, the ER doors open, right? And there was Jim. I had I had like a lounge outfit, like a lounge outfit in my pajamas, and I had flip-flops on, and I was literally shaking. And it was cold out. It was cold. The road was damp and stuff like that, right? Because they said, well, and I really wanted to go to the St. John's down the street, but I couldn't. So here's Jim is. Hold on. I never got discriminated in all my life when it comes to that, okay? I should have sued them, okay? Seriously. Anyway. So here comes Jim. Doors open and stuff. I'm shaking and I'm like, and he's looking at me. He's like, come on. And he even told me, he says, if I didn't know you, he said, you look like a junkie so strung out. Because I was shaking because of my anxiety and my pain, right? And I had flip-flops on, right? And I'm like, but I'm not med shopping. And so you know what we did? Well, yeah, it seems like I am going through this still emotionally. I talked to therapists about this, even after when it happened. But it pisses me off, okay? But I still go to OSU. Go figure. Anyway, I'd rather go to the OSU, the hospital that discriminated against me, than the rinky-dink hick hospital in our town. What does that tell you? Anyway, holy God. So you know what Jim did? He's like, all right, we'll go to St. John's or Hillcrest, or it was down the street somewhere, and all the lobby was full of homeless people. No joke, it was full and stuff. We registered, and here we are sitting there for about 2 hours. I'm like, Jim, I just want to go home. I just want to go home, and because I was, and we went home, and that was the end of the night. But they only took, yeah, thank God for him, okay? Thank God. Because he didn't want to go to another hospital. He just wanted to go home. He didn't like Tulsa. He didn't like driving through Tulsa. He didn't, whatever, okay? But yeah, it did affect me. I guess it still affects me. Because if they really did, like the blood work, and actually, because when they put me in that emergency room and stuff, and all the doctors came in and they were like, what's wrong with you? What's wrong, and all that stuff, and I knew they were checking between my toes and stuff, okay? And all that. And here I'm trying to get out what the problem is. And I couldn't. And it was frustrating me more and more, and the doctor said, well, what's wrong with you? What? And here he's checking my foot. Because at that time I had drop foot and stuff. It's better now. But my whole right foot was paralyzed. I couldn't move it. I couldn't, And I was getting frustrated with trying to communicate that I'm in pain, my anxiety. I mean, they had to know, even the EMTs, told them, and they were just trying. It was just confusion, and I know I'm not the only one that experienced that, and Jim will tell you, he's like, don't defend yourself. You defend yourself all the time. Oh yeah, I've been defending myself for most of my life when I'm in recovery, or when I try to defend other people, or when I, you know what I mean. But yeah, but I still go to OSU, the rich man's hospital. They could not identify what the problem was, so the communication was very poor, and you suffered because of it. It was getting me more frustrated. You know, I'm like, it's going down my throat. I said, I mean, I wasn't talking like that, but you know what, And I guess I was slurring my words too, I guess. Like and I mean, my anxiety, my panic attack was on a level of like 9, and there's people worse than me that I mean, they were med shopping and they were looking at me like I was med shopping. Like, what the fuck is, come on. It's crazy. I'll tell you another time. In November, that's when I called you, or I talked to you. I said I'm in the ER for back pain or whatever, right? They admitted me to the hospital, right, because of my foot. Oh no! Wait, hold on, no. No. Back in November, I got up and I just fell out. I fall right on my head, okay, and all that. And I thought it was 1985, and I thought I was in Morristown Memorial Hospital in New Jersey in 1985. One of the nurses that usually takes care of me there, thought I was joking. I wasn't joking. So they admitted me because I had a concussion. Right? Doctors should know more about your track record and what you're really about, but that's hard to convey. Yeah. Yeah. Especially when you're in a high state of panic. So they admitted me this one time, back in November. And so my regular doctor was actually on call for that week. Right? And my doctor, my primary care doctor, is really cool. His name, I'm not going to say his whole name, but his name is Dr. Wade, okay? He looks like Magnum P.I. I swear, he wears the Hawaiian shirts with the mustache, and he has the earring. Oh, all right. Fascinating life, too, by the way, and stuff. Because we talk about certain things in his life and my life and whatever, right? So he comes in with a whole bunch of, residents and stuff, right? Students, and there was one more doctor or nurse or whatever. And, and so he says, well, what year is it? They kept asking, what year is it? 1985. And he looked at me, he said, I'm worried about you. This one nurse or lady doctor or whatever said to me, we did a drug test on you. You were dirty for opioids. And you know what happened? I I snapped out of it. I said, what are you trying to say? I felt like jumping out of that bed and just getting right up in her face and stuff, all right? That's me. That's me. She said, well, we found opioids in your urine. Yeah, so? Well, where did that come from? I said, well, I'm not doing anything at home and all that stuff. I said, he knows me. The doctor knows me. I don't do anything like that. Right? So my doctor looks at the notes and he says, oh, so-and-so, it says here that she got shot up with 4 cc's of morphine in the ambulance. That's all it was. I'm like, see, I told you. I'm like, what? But she never said anything like that again. I said, listen, I take my recovery very seriously. I'm very vigilant about it. And I said, I would tell you if something was wrong. I would rat out my disease. So, of course, I'm on a whole soapbox or a whole hospital bed, doing this to her and all this stuff. But yeah, when it comes to recovery, it's so important to me because I know if I end up going back to the dope man or whatever, I know I would probably be dead within a day, maybe 3 days, a week, maybe, I don't know. But it will be like I never stopped. And I know that for a fact. And Jim, he was a big pothead way back in the day. And he was an alcoholic. He never went to rehab. He never went to AA meetings, celebrate recovery meetings, whatever, and stuff. And he told me, he says, if I didn't have you in my life, he says, I think I would have just smoked pot. Went back to smoking pot or just lived like a bum or whatever. But also he told me too, he says, I had this intention too when I was in relationships, where I'm like, well, I would never use in front of, so-and-so because I worry about his recovery. I didn't care about that. And he said to me, he told somebody else, his friend, he said, I wouldn't use, I wouldn't go back to smoke pot or drink because I would worry about her recovery. But you can't, pot messed me up. I don't know how I ever made that a maintenance drug in the day. Now the pot, it's not like our parents' pot. It's not our pot during, like it was back in the day. The pot has so much higher levels of THC that it's actually causing psychosis in people. My son, years ago, smoked pot with his friend Brandon, and he thought there was PCP in it. He said, Mom, don't get mad at me. Please don't get mad at me. Promise me. I said, well, I already knew what he was going to say, right? I said, I'm not going to get mad at you. He said, Mom, yeah, I smoked pot with Brandon, but I think it had like something in it. What do you think it was? Like maybe, I said maybe PCP, whatever, or was it synthetic pot? Well, I don't, Hating myself so bad that I had to stay high somehow most of my day state, the state of the day. I apologize. I can't read this. Wait, most of the day, never normal. Well, yeah, that was me. When I used to bang myself or smoke crack or whatever. Yeah. I thought I was gonna die with a spike in my arm. You know? We're the lucky ones. Yeah, we get our caffeinated fix and or nicotine fix or whatever. But that's lesser than the evils, even though it's so good. Right, kill us. All right. But, you know what I mean? I mean, we could justify it any way you want to. I mean, But, yeah. When I first got up in the morning, guess what I did? Right in my arm. Or, I don't miss it. I don't miss it at all. And people, this government, whatever, they say, oh, it's God's miracle drug. It's all natural and all. Well, look at hold on. There's 2 Chinese pot farms next to us, or not next to us, but down the road or wherever it is. Okay. They're lacing it. They're cracking down on all these illegal pot farms now in Oklahoma. But I tell people, yeah, it's all natural. Just like cocaine was natural before they processed it, so was heroin before they processed it. Okay? It's not natural. But now they're coming out with more studies that it just like smoking cigarettes, it causes heart disease and all this other crap. And maybe we should talk about that too in a few days and stuff. I could not use hard drugs every day. They came in spurts throughout the week. That's why I say pot was a maintenance drug. Yeah. I used to use pills or methadone. I was not a methadone recipient and stuff, but I knew, friends that were on methadone a lot and stuff. They were on it for 20 years. You know what I mean? When you don't want to be in your head, so you think staying high, yeah, but sometimes, all right, hold on. Sometimes if you're diagnosed as being schizophrenic, and I'm going to say this again, I am not a licensed therapist nor a licensed drug and alcohol therapist, okay? All right? If you're schizophrenic and you smoke pot, guess what's going to happen to you? It's going to exacerbate your symptoms. It's going to quick that switch with your symptoms, and it's going to get worse. Mosquitoes not bothering you? I guess not. I guess not. You can't see me? Well, I always do. And you know that. You know that. You and I should actually, you know what? You and I should really do a stream. Collaborate on a stream or whatever. And just talk about whatever. Maybe, have make topics and put it in a hat and just pull one out. Well, that's good. So you can see my ugly mug. I just like when you hit the nail on the head. I enjoy it. People don't want to hear the truth. They want to be lied to. They want to hear what they want to hear, and that's it. I'm from Jersey, okay? I'd rather have a friend tell me the truth, even if it hurts me, than telling me what I want to hear. Because if you tell people what they want to hear, you're not a friend. You're just a standbyer. You know, understand? You're a neighbor. You know what I'm talking about? You're just an enabler if you're just... And that's why a lot of people don't want to come on the stream, because they know they're going to hear the truth. I pull no punches and stuff. I have nothing to lose. You know what I'm saying? Seriously. I've lost a lot in my life. I don't want people to go through what I went through. If I save one person, and I know this is cliche, if I only save one person in my from my stream, I did my job. Yes, that is so true. I used to tell people things like they just want, like they like to hear just to be accepted, and I was never a friend. I never knew that it was selfish to do that. Sometimes you have to be selfish for yourself about boundaries. You know what I'm saying? Just like I'm outside. I can't, because they hear. But you know what I'm talking about. But it's like, you know, if they don't like the truth, you know what? That's their problem. And just maybe, they'll come back to you and say, you know what? You were right. And it's not an ego thing. It's not an ego thing. You know? But if you tell them, see, I told you so. Yeah, that's an ego thing. But if you're humble about it, and you know, they come back to you and say, you know what, you were right. You were. And he said, well, you know, I try to tell you, and, you know, because I really care about you. I'm a friend. You know, I support you, but come on. You know what I mean? I used to do that. Oh, I told you so. Yeah, so. Look what the guy. Thank you for the hearts. I appreciate the hearts. Much love back to you guys. Let me give you guys a cyber hug. Yeah. I hope I don't break your ribs. Group hug, group hug. There you go. Oh, Spider! What's up, girl? Am I live? Am I live? Moto, you tell her if I'm live or not. All right, group hugs, cyber hugs. Come on, guys. Here we go again. We're going to get a double dose of Queen's bear hug, cyber hug. We have to think of a name for my cyber hugs. All right, come on. I miss you, Lolly. Yes, I have. I missed you so much. There. I hope I didn't get any sweat on anybody. Oh! You saw that, right? He should be sleeping outside with the cats. He should be sleeping out. Yeah. Yeah, you tell him, Ryder. He's gonna be sleeping out in the cats. Yeah. He should know better. Wait, yeah, he should be sleeping with the chickens. Right? That's... I can't... Oh, my God. That's technically... technical fault. You can't sneak up on somebody while they're on a live stream. Usually in the shower. Like, yep. Well, when Jim's in bed, I'll say, honey, and I'll be, like I'm like Michael Myers or something. I might look like Michael Myers and stuff at times, I'll admit, but you know. Good to see you. What's up, Frogzilla? Hippie hop, don't stop. Don't stop doing what you do to Lolly. I admit I look like Freddy Krueger at times. Getting cold water, throwing on you while you're in the shower is always a good time. Who eats what? Throwing water on me? You haven't been in my shower with me. You better rephrase that. Oh my God. I'm telling you. Listen, I know life gets crazy, okay? I know life gets crazy. Oh, the cold water? I think you need to reread it, Rocket. Anyway, well, I need glasses. Don't tell Jim I need new glasses. No, wait. Getting cold, throwing on you while you're in the shower is always good times. Yes. I know I was joking around. I'm just saying I've had cold water thrown on me while I was in the shower by somebody else. Sometimes I love cold water. Not lukewarm, just cold water, especially on hot days like this. Thank you for the hearts. I appreciate it. Much love to you guys. I do not communicate well in chats. Apparently, that's why I don't chat too much. You're doing just fine. Listen, I think I have the communication problems at times. I'm from Jersey. What do you expect? We talk with our hands. But I hope you guys are well. You know what? You know, on this stream we haven't talked about any politics or nothing. We're just chatting, you know, catching up with things, you know. No one does. Moto. That's why so many. Yeah, that's why so many misunderstood. Yeah, lost in translation. That's all you have, right? And sometimes 5 minutes at a time. Jen's going through something right now. He made a decision today. I'm not going to talk about tonight. I'm going to let the dust settle for a little bit. But I am going to talk about it. Because it really changed what his decision did today, changed our lives forever. So, but I'm not going to talk about just yet. I'm letting the dust settle and just, you know, like I want to be right there sitting next to you talking. Well, you are! I know, it's not the same thing. We need, you know what we need? We need, wouldn't that be cool? We have to, whoa. We really need to come up with a, not now, wait until everybody's settled with their health issues and everything else and stuff. But wouldn't that be cool if we could just meet in one place, right? And just hang out and just chat it up. But even in the rain, the lightning is beautiful in the clouds. Yes. Wait a minute. Got to see the beauty out there, Lolly. That's awesome. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, look at these. No. Yeah, you'd think. Yeah. Hell, I could have quintuplets and can you like that? I can't. Do you know? I'm going to tell you something. You talk about that. My first love. Okay? That happened to my boyfriend. My first love. When we were back in the band and whatever, okay? This is back in Jersey and stuff. He lived in Roseland, New Jersey. I live in Denville and stuff. And we met from mutual people and stuff. And actually, my band was playing at, I think, his cousin's garage and stuff, right? His mother, right? And she sort of liked me, you know, and whatever. But she knew I was I was one of those, you know, wink, wink. Anyway, so, but my boyfriend's mother was 50 when she had George. 50. And she was menopausal and everything. Well, she was in the beginning of menopause, right? And it happened. So his sister was 10 years older than he was. Or I think 11 years older than. Yeah, not. Yeah. 11 years. And he thought he was going to get. He was in a. There's a lot of stories with him. But I'll tell you one thing. I know Homeland Security's looking at his X-file. I know that. He was never like that, but yeah. Yeah. I'm glad that never happened to me. And I'm just lucky, and I'm lucky too, that when I was in my addiction, I didn't get pregnant either. You know why? I'll tell you why. Because of all the freaking drugs I did, I didn't get pregnant. And that's the truth. But I know a few of my friends that were dope addicts or whatever, and they had to be on methadone. Because if they went off methadone, they would kill the baby. So throughout her pregnancy, she had to be on methadone. And that was sad to see. I had 3 friends like that. I said, oh, God, My mother got a hysterectomy. And all that. She actually had 3. I'm a miracle today. Just like you guys are. I'm a miracle today because I'll tell you why. My mother had 3 miscarriages before me. But she almost lost me too. Because I was so rambunctious and stuff, I was kicking and screaming because I wanted to get out. Alright. And the doctor has sewed me up back in the embryonic sac. And all that, right? And this was an experimental surgery, and I was actually featured in the New England Journal of Medicine because it was experimental. And my mom's doctor, Dr. Rizzi, was a drunk. So God had plans for me ever since I was in my mom's womb. So what happened was, she was starting to bleed. All right. Thanks for the likes, guys. I truly appreciate each and every one of you. Just by you being here is enough. So my father took her to the hospital. Now, this was up in New York State. Okay, in Greenwood Lake. All right. So they admitted her, and Dr. Rizzi, the drunk, the alcoholic, said to my father, we're going to do the surgery, but don't tell Karen she might lose the baby still. Right? Thanks, Wally. I love you, sister. I love you. Thank you. So Dr. Rizzi, I don't know, maybe he had a couple shots before he sewed me up. I don't know. But he sewed me up in the embryonic sac and ta-da! Look at me now! I'm living in Oklahoma! Creating a wildfire change! So, yeah. So, from the day I was in my mother's womb, I was a miracle. Wait, hold on. That's right, he does. And whether you believe it or not, especially people that are still struggling with drugs and alcohol, God still has a plan for you. You might not realize it at that moment, but I'm telling you, during my addiction, God was giving me signs all over the place. I just, Well, thank you. I know, I don't listen. All right, so with Instagram, how do you do because I know I'm really annoying you guys with sending my videos to you by messages. I don't know how to just send the videos out without the messages. I know I drive you guys nuts. Like, oh, here she is again, promoting her video, promoting her TikTok. Instagram is so freaking confusing. TikTok, I don't go on that much, I mean, I do, but I don't. You know what I mean? No, you don't drive anybody nuts. It works, so no problem. I don't know how that works. It's not really about. I know, but I'm just saying. I used to do that on Xbox. Xbox used to have a editing software called oh God, what's that? How come I can't think of it? Oh my God. Just batty, not nuts. I'm batshit crazy from Jersey. Don't you forget it. Hell yeah. Listen, I don't care if people call me batshit crazy or stone cold crazy. I don't care. I'm from Jersey. I am what I am, and I sound like Popeye now, right? Oh. I don't always get notices, YouTube, Instagram, so that's, that message helps. Yeah. Upload Studio, that's what, alright. Bam, alright. So Xbox had an editing software called Upload Studio. That's how Jim and I met on Xbox, alright? And so I would make clips of my gameplay and whatever, and you put them together on Upload Studio on your Xbox, and you would, make music videos, right? And that's how we got started. And so what people did and stuff to get trending, and Jim and I trended on Xbox a lot for our videos, like GTA 5 or Battlefield or whatever, right? So people would spam us their clips or their music videos, and we would spam other people with our videos so we could get trending. So when I did this with Instagram, I didn't do Instagram for a long time until, just recently. And they have, Reels now and stories. I'm like, what the hell is all this? They make it so complicated. But yeah, so every time I make a short or whatever, I, message you guys or what, I'm like, yeah, they're thinking, oh, here she is again. She's so annoying. Yeah. It's all about her. She only thinks about herself. Seriously. Well, thank you, Froggy. You know what I forgot to do? Ryder, I forgot to give you my address. It just came to me now. But that would be cool if, you guys and Moto and Ray and just we'll just meet up somewhere and just, burn the woods down with bonfires, whatever. Ribbit. Woo-hoo. I know, but I just thought about it. And listen, I was talking about this before, about projects, about you and I could be sisters. I swear. Alright? Side by side. And I told you I was going to work on. I have so many projects I have to do. I'm trying, it gets overwhelming. Well, you could just, use one of those huge slingshots and pull it back, and just bing! And cross your fingers and hope I get it. Yeah. So what, Froggy? Ribbit, heavy hop, don't stop. Right? Let Frogzilla make a huge slingshot. And then put the preserves, a whole case of preserves, in that slingshot and pull it back. And then, boom! Right across the sky. And cross your fingers and maybe cross your eyes, maybe cross your legs, hoping I would get it. How about that? And that didn't break. And it didn't break in Bigfoot on the... Yeah, that's it! Bigfoot too! There's a lot of sightings about a man wolf going on around here. Or no, a man bear? No, man dog. You know about the man dog? It's not a werewolf, it's something else, man dog. Oh, I'm scared. I bet you the man dog's afraid of my face. Oh no! Oh my God! Run! She's so scary! She's from Jersey. Chopper, yeah, I'm not talking about that. I know what Chopper Cobra. Yeah, that's a Jersey way of saying it. Chopper Cobra. That's a Jersey translation of it. Chopper Cobra. Or whatever. Dog man, yeah. I have a bone for him, if you know what I mean. Pow! Jim's lucky that I didn't give him a bone. A few bones, if you know what I mean. Just saying. Self-defense. Oh, man. What a night, right, guys? What a night. It's really good to come out here, even though I'm sweating like a hog. Just to come out here and just enjoy our conversations or chat. You know what I mean? It's been a long time in coming. And like I said, you guys, this is my space. And we didn't talk about what's going on in the world politically, spiritually, and all that. Let's get away from all that and enjoy our company together. It's all about connecting with people. Bye, Moto! Sweet dreams. Thanks for showing up. I love you, brother. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. When I used to play games on Mixer or even on here and stuff, I play like, say, pinball machine, the pinball games or whatever, I'll stream and stuff, and I said, this is not just about gaming or streaming my gameplay or whatever. It's about connecting with people. And people are missing that. Doing it virtually isn't cutting it either. People want physical connection. And I'm not talking about people on Tinder dates and whatever. Okay? Swipe left, swipe right. All that stuff, right? Thanks, Moto. Let me give you a hug real quick. Good night. Don't let the bed bugs bite. There you go. I love you, brother. But yeah, people, they're, ever since the pandemic, and also, like, the 7-Elevens, the convenience stores shut. They're not open 24 hours a day anymore. Or even the gas stations or whatever. It sucks. Our Walmart used to be a 24/7 store. Not anymore. It sucks. People are starving for connection or for communication, like actually speaking to each other. Not by texting or whatever. It's sad what this world's become. But it's really up to us on we can change things. Like get dumb phones. They have things called dumb phones now, or just switching the landlines, or just disconnecting altogether. Well, but you really aren't, because they're still tracking you. I'm not get far deep in this political spectrum. Believe me, I'm not. No, we're not gonna do that. But I love where I live. Out in the Hickville, Oklahoma, out in the sticks and whatever. It's peaceful. It's not like Jersey. It's peaceful. If you ever get a chance, guys, to, live out in the country, do it. But for some people, they like the city. I used to go to New York City, well, especially in my band days, or if I used to cop or whatever. But do I miss it? No. You know what? This is so weird. This is weird. When me and Jim met on Xbox, right, and whatever, and we finally set a date where he shows up to Jersey, right? And right off the bat, he said, I'm not going to go to the city. I don't want to go to the city. I don't want to go to New York City. I'm like, what? Because I was going to show him a few crack houses I used to go to. No, I wouldn't do that. All right. That was a joke. Yeah. So he's like, I don't want to go to the city. I'm like, fine. We went down to Seaside Heights, where the Jersey Shore was filmed and whatever. And so I said, but the rite of passage is you have to eat clams, raw clams. He's like, I'm not, no. He's like, no. And I said, no, that's a rite of passage. You have to do it. So we went down Seaside Heights. We got like a dozen clams. I thought I was going to get 2 dozen clams, one for me and one for him. Oh, no. It was only 1 dozen raw clams. And I had this on videotape and whatever. And, I made it up for him with Tabasco and the lemon and stuff. I shoved it. I gave it to him. And the look that he made when he ate them, he just slurped it down, swallowed it whole, I guess. And just the reaction he did from eating the raw clam was priceless. But when he's in there in the living room, do you know he'll go on YouTube and actually go on these channels that walks through New York City? Like they'll walk through Times Square or Broadway or the Bronx or whatever. I'm like, but you didn't want to go to the city when you came over there for a week. But yet you come, sit down, go on a YouTube channel that walks through New York City. What? And I'll sit there with him for a couple minutes. I'll tell him, where it is and, wherever, because I'm like, it's all right, because I was going to get off also. Yes. I know. I love you, sister, okay? I'm going to get off too and stuff. But I appreciate each and every one of you and stuff. Just by you being here is enough. But let me give you, a Jersey hug. Cyber hug. Oh, thank you for being here. I appreciate you so much. And make sure that Frogzilla makes that huge slingshot so you can give me some preserves, okay? I hope I didn't get any sweat on you. But yeah, I'm gonna get off too, guys. I'll admit. I just want to come on here to say things are getting better. Jersey Homa. No, you know what I was going to call myself? The Jersey Oklahoman. Yeah! We could just name the hug that. Like a sandwich. Like a celebrity sandwich in Katz's Deli in New York. Times Square and the Statue of Liberty is all I want to see. You when I was in New York. Well, like I said, I can show you a few crack houses the celebrity crack houses I used to go in. Oh my God. Like the Jay-Z suite. Or the Big E small suite. But you know what happened? We were coming back from Seaside Heights. And he can tell the story better than I can. But we were coming home on the parkway and stuff. And this truck was side by side. And he wanted to get over and stuff. Or, the truck was just coming, just side by side. And I rolled down the window and I said, fuck. And he said, why don't you tell the truck driver, fuck you? He should never have said that. I rolled down the window. I said, "Fuck you!" And he was looking at me like she actually did that. I'm gonna get shot and die. But anyway, we made a turn off and we ended up in Newark, New Jersey. And that was another copping spot I used to go to. It was actually 4 blocks down to where we turned off on. And he was so freaking scared. He wanted to get out of there so bad. Well, I said I can show you a couple of spots where he was so freaking scared. Seriously. But I want him to tell you that story about the truck driver. And when he said, well, yeah, why don't you say fuck you to the trucker and stuff. And he says it a lot better. He says it funnier than me. But he thought he was going to die after that. He said, yeah, I'm going to get shot and die. I can't believe she said, you don't tell a Jersey girl to do anything because you'll do it. Trust me. She will. Just like when I was here for about 6 months, and we went to a wrestling match. Not, it was like an independent promotion, right? And we had to get gas before we came home, right? So we were at the Come and Go, and to me that's like a station for prostitutes, if you know what I mean. Lot lizards. Wink, wink. They have gas stations called Come and Goes, okay? So it's like stations for lot lizards. Anyway, so he got out of the car and he was, pumping his own gas, where Jersey we don't. So there was this guy in a gold car. He stopped, right? And I saw him in the rear view mirror. He stopped and he was talking to Jim about something. Like he was just wait. I'm like, what's going on here? So I get all puffed up with Jersey Dude. I got out and I looked at him eye to eye, like, you're not gonna mess with my man. And he left. He got that scared because he knew I was onto him. So yeah, I got Jim's back. Nobody's gonna mess with my man. True story though. True story. The guy was scared. He's going, oh no, okay. And he left. Unbelievable. But yeah, I love living in Hickville, Oklahoma, Rocklahoma. It was the best decision I made. I'm glad I got out of Jersey when I did. Yeah, I miss some parts of Jersey. I'm not gonna lie, okay? They don't know how to do Chinese food here. They fuse it with French food. They put frog legs in the China buffet. They really don't know how to make pizza here. They don't know how to make Philly cheesesteak with the whiz. Jersey Dude. Yeah, I scared. You asked Jim. I scared the living daylights out of him. He knew something was going to go down. When I got up, when I opened up that door and I looked straight at him, and he was like about 25 feet away. He knew. He knew something was up. Even when I was in Walmart this one time, I think I was here for what? I don't know if I was here for the 18 days. No, I was here before we got married. we went to the Walmart in Sand Springs, right? And we were shopping. It's a super center, so they have the grocery stores and the grocery aisles and whatever. And there was these people, and it was a racist thing, okay? The blacks versus white, and the white guy said the N-word and all this stuff, and I was like ready to, get in on it, like, it just is, oh, no, come on, true story, and I was ready to, but see, that's how I am. Jim's so different from me. I pull the extrovert out of him. Even if he doesn't want that part of him coming out. If you know what I mean. And believe me, like with my back pain and all that, I don't think about that. Like, Jim will tell you. Like, I will do things like lift up, like, cinder blocks or, lift something heavy. And I won't think about it. And then when the pain comes, forget it. Just like when my sister-in-law passed away that day. A quick switched on, and I ran. It felt like I was like Baywatch, slow motion, because I smoke a lot of cigarettes, right? And overweight, right? So, and I saw her and stuff, and my back pain was like, oh my God. So yeah, it's like, how, like, they do aptitude tests for, like, EMTs, for police, for the Army. They give you an aptitude test because they want to know if they can condition you, brainwash you, and whatever. And, I'm one of those people that will go towards the fire instead of, backing away. You know what I mean? But the wildfire we had, a couple months back in March and stuff, of course, I'm not going to run towards it. I'm going to get the hell out of there. But that night, I had like an eerily feeling, like I was just numb, and it was like a calmness I never felt before. Like, oh, I already lost a lot of stuff from my addiction or whatever. Just by losing stuff more. Oh, well, it was just weird. You know what I mean? He was more like, come on, let's go. I sat on the stupid couch smoking a cigarette, saying whatever, But yeah, I'm a person that would go towards the fire. I don't think he would. Maybe he would. I don't know if he would or not. Well, he was in the Army, so I don't know. When I was in Jersey, when I was growing up, I think I was like 12 or 13, I was part of the New Jersey Explorer Club in Morristown. And the Explorers Club, for those that don't know, is different town cops, organizations like, say, Denville, New Jersey, or Morristown, New Jersey, or Roxbury. They have a thing called Explorers Club. And it has nothing to do about camping or, the Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, what. It has to be where you are actually a part of the police force. And I did that. I had to go to Navy Army swore to get an official police uniform of Morristown. I had to have my badge and my name and all this and whatever. And we would ride along inside the police car on calls. And I did that for a little while and stuff until things took a left turn. But yeah, that was fun. And they still have the Explorer clubs out today and stuff. So if you have any kids that want to be in the police force or whatever, check to see if you have the Explorers Club in your area. Or even go to the police station in your town and ask if they have the Explorers Club. Yeah. Well, did they know I was smoking pot, though? And it's funny because in my addiction, the 2 cops in Morristown arrested me a couple times. And they're like, what the hell? And the one guy, Rick, he was an alcoholic and stuff. And he was going through something with his marriage. He was sleeping around and whatever. And somebody, he arrested me. He didn't want to. He said, I have, but he took the cuffs off because he knew I was going to do some stupid whatever. But it was kind of funny that they arrested me. But so anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed our conversation. I know I did. We didn't talk about anything political, what's going around in the world. It was just our space, right? Our space. Just enjoy each other's company, each other's conversation, getting to know each other a little bit better. We talked about situations that could happen in your recovery if you're in recovery from drugs and alcohol and stuff. We talked about a little bit about patients' rights if you're in the ER or whatever, right? So we got to know each other a little bit better, right? Which is a good thing. Maybe tomorrow, I don't twist my arm, hold me for this, but maybe tomorrow we'll go back in the wildfire and we'll see what we can come up with. But just by you guys being here is enough. Trust me, just by you being here is enough. You, and you. I do appreciate each and every one of you. And I'm trying to build a community, guys. I'm trying to build an army called the Queen's Light Brigade so we can create a wildfire of change to diminish the darkness in the world. I know we're not going to get all the darkness in the world, but we're going to fight like hell to get rid of it. And I want us to uplift each other, support each other. Stand by each other, because that's what friends are for, right? That's what friends are for. I love you too. Hippie app, don't stop. Ribbit, ribbit, ribbit. I want us to really do something in the community and stuff, like have a game night. And I mentioned this on another channel before, and maybe they thought I was trying to overstep my bounds. I'm not trying to do that. But like on this channel, we should have like a game night where it's like it has to do with your phone. It's called Jackbox Parties, or do something fun. You know, nothing like brain twisted, you know, where you get so stressed out or whatever. I'm very competitive, though, I'll tell you that much. So watch out. But, you know, stuff like that. You know, people have forgotten to have fun in their life, too. That's another thing. You know. So if you guys want to do Jackbox Party, Riff Raff, which is like, you know, dubbing, you make up what's being said on the screen, you know, different movie clips, and you think about what's being said and whatever. We can play that. You know, we can do challenges, like you challenge me, not dangerous, okay, not like eating Tide Pods or anything, but do something fun, maybe creating stuff with AI. You know how I am with AI, guys. Or, you know what, I was thinking too, I think this is going to be a banger. I was thinking, say Frogzilla, right? Frogzilla. Hippie hop, right? You tell me something about your life, right? Just a little something. And we can make a song out of it. Just for fun. Just for fun. I think that would be cool, right? And make a little video of it. I think that would be a banger. And all that. Because creating, you know, with more people is more fun, right? And all that. It'll bring us closer together. It'll bring us more bonding time together. You know, it'll be our space, you know. If you know friends that like to do that kind of stuff, bring them on over. You know, we'll do an initiation. I have to think about that, but, you know, I mean, it would be all in fun, you know. Nothing malicious. And so maybe we'll do that, next week? Or whatever. I have the games, some of the games on my computer. And like I said, with the songs about your life, like, this is your life, well, this is your song, or what, you know, I'll think of a name. But, you know, like, say, you know, you could tell me something about Lolly, right? And stuff, right? And we'll create a song about her and a little video. You can you know what, you can send me clips of her and whatever. Like maybe a little quirks she does or whatever. But it would be all in fun. You know what I mean? See, I have big dreams, guys, for my stream and stuff. It's all about connecting with people. It's all about helping each other out. It's all about living life, connecting with people, uplifting each other, you know. And yeah, we might have differences politically, spiritually, whatever, but, you know, that's okay. It all comes back down to old-fashioned values and morals and respect and decency, you know. That's all it's going to be about, really, you know. And the world needs it. Seriously. I'll try to set things up, you know, and you know, it depends on my hick internet, too, because, you know, how my hick internet is, it's made out of straw. But, well, I'll even get Jim involved too. You know, even though he's I'm not gonna have fun doing this. Or, you know, he says the same thing, but I'll pull him in. You know, But thanks for showing up, guys. Please have your thoughts and prayers go out to the people of Texas, especially the loved ones that lost their loved ones in the flood. And Kentucky, what happened over there, you know, and do something for yourself. And you know what, if you want to really feel good about yourself, do something for somebody else, whether it be your spouse, your neighbor. Call your friend up that you haven't talked to in a while. Just ask them how they're doing. Same here, Froggy. Same here. I do appreciate it more than I'll ever know, trust me. But let's create a wildfire change, guys, and diminish the darkness in the world one flame at a time. You know, I love you guys. Have a good night. I'll see you on the next one. This is Rock Queen 71 coming at you live from my headquarters, and I'm signing off. Later, guys. God bless. Love you all. Bye.